All right. Good morning, everyone. It's 10 a.m. Nigerian time. It's 10 a.m. in Lagos. How are we all doing? Welcome to today's session for AI for absolute beginners. Trust that you're all doing great. As always, please sign in on the attendance. Let's begin to sign in now. So today's class is going to be a fully virtual class. There's no physical class today, but physical classes continue on Thursday as always, right? Okay, okay, great. So let's just begin to sign in. All right. So we'll just wait about another 5 minutes for our colleagues to join us. If you know anyone that should be on this call, text them up to join right away. Okay, so as always, you can drop your questions on the chat so that my colleagues and I can answer during the session. You can also, even if you're following on YouTube, you can also drop your questions so that we can pick that as well. Okay, right, so we'll just wait a few minutes for everyone to dial in because today's class is fully virtual. Just wait till 10:05 and then we're going to get started. So if you have any questions, you can begin to drop them now in the chat so that we can pick that up and we can start up from there today. All right. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to today's session. Great. We're dialing in. That's awesome. Welcome. Thank you all for joining the call today. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so let's get started. Um, it's really important that so because I've been seeing some questions on the chat and the Q&A. Please drop your questions on the chat and not the Q&A so it can be picked up as part of the session. And also, please, if you are joining for the first time today, it's totally fine. Just make sure you go over the last session videos, right? So all these questions some of these questions that have been asked, they are already covered in the last session videos. Previous session videos, just go over them. All you have to do is they are available on YouTube on the info pack. This document that I'm on right now, you can get every single detail for this class. Okay, so that will be easily taken care of. Okay, so just please watch the last session video, the previous session videos, if you have questions. All right. So sign into the attendance for everybody on the call. If you are joining virtually, of course, we are all joining virtually today. So please you have the link to the attendance, it's on the info pack, or you just scan this QR code to access the attendance. Okay. So someone is asking why the length of a list is 2. So I think you're talking about the list above, and the list you have sent to the chat, that is one that is not a list. That list is um incorrectly initialized. Well, let's just put it that way. Also, yeah, so we covered the list index in the last session. So just go over the last session videos, you'll find a very robust explanation there. Okay, all right. So let's get into session for today. What I am going to do is I'm just going to go over the last things we covered from print formatting. So from print formatting, I'm going to start at print formatting today so that we can just go over the last things we have covered over the last class really. Okay, so just the last class we covered in the last class. All right, great. So we talked about print formatting, where we use the format method of a string to input variables, to input text from a user or from whatever text that we want to put in a string. So we want to put particular text in strings. And to do that, to put this text in the string, we require the use of the format method. We want to put username, which is newbie, and password, which is 12345, into this string here. And we want username to come in between this curly brackets, and we want password to come in between this curly bracket. So what do? We follow the same sequence. The first one is username, right? Once we've typed out our string, we put dot format. It has to be exactly like this. Observe there's no parentheses after the string. Parentheses comes after the whole function. So dot format, put the username, put the password variables. We run ourselves, and when we do, we obtain this. So we covered all this last week. We said also that you can directly inside the format method, you can initialize your variables, and you can now put the variable name between the curly brackets. Always has to be the curly bracket to use the string format option. Okay, all right. Okay. So we also covered numbers. Formatting numbers follows the same principle. You have your curly brackets where you want the number to be, and all you have to do is put a variable name or the number itself, and it will be formatted. This can be done to do various decimal places. Talk about the input and output functions, where print is our basic output function, and input. Once you call the input function, whatever you put within the parentheses will be a kind of prompt to the user. It's going to be displayed, and the text box will appear after whatever text you put within the parentheses. Whatever text is within the parentheses, once you call the input function, this input method here, whatever text you have put within the parentheses will automatically come out and be a guide to the user, or will be displayed, and right after it, immediately the next, you see here, if there's no space, the next character, a text box will appear where whatever you want to type in will be typed in, and the input will always be a string. So once I run this to ask, what is your name? Because that is what is in the parentheses, whatever I type will go into the variable we have declared, name, right? And anytime we print name, we'll get full name. Okay. Any variable that comes as a result of the input function will always be a string data type. All right. So let's move on. We'll talk also about formatting for input using the F. Yes. So all you have to do if you don't want to use dot format is before the quotation for the string, you write F. It's just F. It's not special, it's just F, right? And then curly brackets, you put your variable or whatever you want to be there. Okay. Talk also about how you can do multiples. F, see, name to ask us for the name, age to ask us for age, state. And when we print this, it will take the variable. So whatever variable was here, it's going to come here. Whatever variable was in name, it's going to be displayed as the name. Whatever variable was in age will be displayed as the age. Whatever variable was in state will be displayed in state. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Everyone is greeting this morning. Okay, great. I remember from last class, a number of people were like, they didn't understand certain things. So please do go over the video, go over the session videos, go over everything, right? Then we talked about lists. We mentioned how that lists are ordered pairs of, there was a quiz for the last session. Please check the info pack. The list is simply an ordered sequence of objects. The list can contain numbers, integers. The list can contain numbers and floats. A list can contain integers and floats. A list can contain what? String and integer. The important thing is all the elements of a list must be separated by a comma and must be enclosed in your square brackets. So what makes a list is the fact that the objects are separated by a comma and it is enclosed in a square bracket. So country, put all your strings, separate them by comma, and it's initialized as a list. All right. Then mixed list, we talked about that. This is what I just explained. Different, see, this is an integer. 2.5 is a float. Ezekiel is a string. 123 is an integer. Another float is a Boolean data type. Please, every detail you need is on the info pack. Last session videos, they are all on the info pack. All you have to do is visit the link. It's in the chat, it's in the group description for every group chat. It's in your email. It's in, where else? It's everywhere, right? So please just click the link and you'll find all the details there. All you have to do is just read through the instructions there. Okay. You can also have what we call nested lists, where we have a list inside another list. And that list will be an element. For example, new list can be 1, 2, 3, and then another list A that contains elements A, B, and C. And when we run this cell, we have new list. If we find the number of elements in new list, we are going to obtain what? Who wants to guess on the chart? You're going to obtain 1, 2, 3, 4. The number of elements in the new list is 4. And we can confirm that by simply typing len. Thank you, Ibrahim. 4. Okay. All right. We talked about the range function. The range function generates values in a range, but it will generate them, it will always return like this. So, but if we need the actual values generated, we have to use the list function to get the list of values. So list, and we say range 10. List range 10 is going to be items from 0 to 9, 10 elements. So this would be 10 elements starting from 0. That's what it means. Make me a list of 10 elements, incrementing by default 1. You can increment by 5 if you say 10, if you say 0, and we say 5. We'll get 0 and just 5. Why? Starting from 0 to 10 in steps of 5. So 0 to index 10 in steps of 5. Remember, the last index, which is 10, will not be included. So it's 9. If you want 10 to be there, we'll go to 11, right? And in steps of 5, we'll get 0, 5, and 10. Same applies for others. So we can use this to generate a list of even numbers, right? We'll just say start from 2, even numbers till, even if it's 1,000, right? It's 1,001, or move in steps of 2. So we're going to get just immediately 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all your even numbers up to 1,000. If we're going to do odd numbers, this will be 1, 1,001. Okay, 1,000, this will be 2, and we move in steps of 2 as well, right? And we'll get all our odd numbers. Okay. All right, so that is on range. So I'm just trying to run a recap on what we learned last week. Len function, we mentioned how the len function, L-E-N, finds the length of a list or a string. We talked about list indexing and slicing, which is exactly the same as string indexing and slicing, which we have well covered in previous sessions. Okay, and all we know already, you put your index within the square bracket, it's going to return the element at that index. Okay, I did not run the cell. So index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. The element there is 1, 2, 3. And what we are going to get that is 3, 1, 2, 3. If we want to slice, say, element from 0 to index 3, we know that the last index, index 3, will not be included, which is 1, 2, 3. So we know 1, 2, 3 would not be included. But from element 0 to the last element before the element at index 3 will be included. So that's 92.5 GPG analysis. So 92.5 GPG analysis. I have not run this, but obviously you know that will be the answer. Okay. So that's about slicing. So this should be mutable, not immutable, right? So a list is mutable, which means, let me just put this slash mutability, right? So a list is mutable, which means the elements in the list can be changed from any value to another. Okay, all right. So a list is mutable. Let's move on. And an example is my list. So from here is where we'll start today. And if I want to change an element at any index, all I have to do is, let's run this cell, my list, right? The element at index 0, let's use 4. The element at index 4. Okay, so let's go in the chat on YouTube, on Zoom. Okay? The link for attendance, you can just check the info part. You find it there. So What element is at index 4? Let's answer on the chat. What element is at index 4? I'm saying 5, I'm saying 4. I'm still making this mistake. At index 4 is what? What element is at index 4? I'm just waiting for a few replies on the chat. Anybody else want to go? All right, so the element at index 4 has to be 5, right? 0, remember, 1 is at index 0, 2 is at index 1, 3 is at index 2, 4 is at index 3, and 5 is at index 4. So we want to change 5 to, let's say we want to change, I'll put it as a comment. So we want to change, what we want to do is we want to change the element at index 4 to a string, dog, right? We know we can combine different elements, right? So all we have to say is index it. Here is the list. We index it by square brackets. We put the index number of the element you want to change. And we assign to it whatever it is we want to assign to it. So even if there was another variable we had saved before, let's say we had a variable. So my list at index 4, put in dog. Once I run that and I print my list again, what are we going to get? We'll get 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll get dog. The same thing, even if we create another variable, let's call the variable new underscore element, and we call this new variable, let's put a number, let's say 3, 4, 5, 9 is the new element. And all I have to do, I want to change the element at index, say 2. Okay, awesome. People on YouTube, awesome. So we want to change the element to new underscore element. I run this cell. By the time I print my list again, who wants to tell us when we print my list again, the element at index 2 is going to have changed, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 4, and dog, because dog will be the new thing there, right? So, and if we want to return the list to its original state, we can just reassign what was there before. Call it, say, my list. The element at index 0, 1, 2, let it be 3, my list. The element at index 4, let that be what? 5. And then print my list. Show us what our final result is. It's back to normal. We have returned 3, 4, 5, 9. We changed it to 3. So we have 3. And also we've done the same thing for dog. We have 5. Okay? Okay, great. So we changed that element. So the same way we can change whatever data type to any other data type. We can change really anything can be changed. So because a list is mutable, the elements can be changed because the list is mutable. So list methods. Methods are actions we can call from objects. Okay? And the typical format is, as always, to call your method. As always, to call your method, all you have to do is use the dot. See here, right? Dot method, and you will get whatever action the method performs. So what are the different elements in the method or in the list method, the different list methods? We have the append method. The append method is used to add an object to the end of a list, just like the name says, append. It appends a new value, a new variable, a new whatever it is you want to add to the list. It's going to append it. It's going to add it to the end of the list. That means it will take the position, whatever you pass into the append method would now take the position of the last element. So your list will increase by a value of 1, and the elements in the list are also going to change. That is by the last element. So let's look at an example. This list looks a bit long. Let's shorten it. Let's just shorten it a bit. I think this list is just a bit long. Let's shorten it. So my list is now 92.5 GPG and the list 123 0.75 true and false. Okay. Now my list dot append 6. I put the integer 6 here. Now, first off, let's also say how many elements are in the list right now. Before we run the append function, there are 7 elements in the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, when I run the append function, how many elements will be in the list now? Send your answers to the chat. After running the append function, how many elements will be in the list? We can find the number of elements in the list by using the len function. So how many elements are going to be in the list now? Beautiful. 8. There are going to be 8 elements in the list. Beautiful. Thank you so much. There are going to be 8 elements in the list. So, and if we print my list itself, we'll see that 6 has become an element in my list. 6 is right now the last element. So the list will just elongate. The list will increase in the number of elements in it by the element you have put, by the variable, whatever you have put in the append function. My list or append 4, we print it, you see it's now 6, there's 4. List or append primary, secondary, same thing is going to happen. Primary, secondary. Whatever is in the append function is going to be appended to the list. And we can even append a list to the list, right? So if we say, let's create another, we say my list dot append what? Append, let's create a list. What do we want to do in the list? 2, 4, 6. It's going to append the whole list 2, 4, 6 as the last element in my list. See my list, you can see the list there as a single element. All right. Now the insert method. The insert method is a bit different. The insert method is going to insert an object before the given index position. It's going to insert. So in between, you want to put a variable in between different elements. You want to put a variable in between different elements in your list. You use the insert method. Let's see. We have the list, my list to be 92.5 GPG analyst. Is that okay? This is kind of long. Let's just shorten it to be 1, 2, 3, 4 elements now. With these 4 elements, and we want my list is already 4 elements. We're going to run that, and the list will be initialized as that. What we want to insert is the string Ezekiel, right? Ezekiel is going to be inserted, and we want to insert it to come just before index 3. So whatever index you put here, right after, or actually right before that index, what you are inserting will be inserted. That means Ezekiel will take index position. What index position will Ezekiel take? Take index position 3. Okay, let's look at it. So previously, what was at index position 3? 0, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 was at index position 3. So on my list dot insert, we now put Ezekiel at index position 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3, we have Ezekiel now. And 1, 2, 3, actually, integer 1, 2, 3 takes the position of 4 now. Okay. Yes, beautiful. Thank you. I see your answers on the chat. 3, 3, 3. Okay. All right. Visited countries. Now we've visited, imagine the entire AI Everyday class has visited America, Rwanda, Singapore, Italy, Canada, and Mauritius. So we want to, but then we remember, oh, somebody visited South Africa, but that was actually the first country. So this is about order. We want to, we care about the order, and we want South Africa to be the first country that we visited. all we need to say is visited countries dot insert at index 0, right? Okay, I didn't run this. At index 0. And when we print visited countries, what we have, the first one now becomes South Africa, no longer America. All right, so let's do a quick classwork. If I wanted to put I want Nigeria. Here's the question. I want Nigeria to come right after Singapore. After Singapore, I want the next item in this list to be Nigeria. That means I want Nigeria to be here. What index will I pass into the insert method? Beautiful. I'm glad to see a good number of us are following. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The answer is, let's confirm, 3. So that means Nigeria is supposed to come after Singapore, right? 0, 1, 2. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And we have what now? Nigeria, right before Singapore. But Nigeria was supposed to come after Singapore. That is index what? 4. 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Was it before Singapore? 4, right? So that means it should be 4. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, I have to run this again so that it resets. Right, so now we see Nigeria comes right after. So I need to take a look again. I think we're trying to get it after Singapore. If it's after Singapore, it should be 3. Right? Yeah, after Singapore should be 3. So index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the issue we had there was because we did not initialize our we didn't reset the visited countries back to the default after we know we made changes earlier. So that's really important. When you change your variables, you update them, and you want to, run the same variable again, you must reinitialize it, or probably you save the copy of it and you just recall the copy. Okay, so America, blah, blah. So we wanted Nigeria to be right after Singapore. So it must have taken index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. All right, so we are correct. The answer is 3. If it wanted to come after Italy, then it has to be 4. Right, okay. So let's just run another one. We want Nigeria to come after Canada. What is going to be the index we'll pass into the insert method? After Canada, index 5. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Everybody is amazing. Thank you. Oh, we've not put our 5. Haha. Index 5. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nigeria comes right after Canada. I think it makes sense now. We get it. Good. Let's move on. The pop method. The pop method is used to remove and return an item at a particular index. So I have items in my list. I don't like one item there. I want to remove the item. How now? And I want to also know the item I'm removing. For example, perhaps I'm removing everybody from a list of students that registered. I want to remove students that did not attend the class. And as I'm iterating, every time I am passing the variable name for the student that did not attend into a variable, right? So I can use the pop function, just put that variable into the pop function and the method, right? And it's going to keep removing whatever element is there, right? So if we say, where is it now? Say, by default, if we don't put any parameter, each of these methods, some of them have default parameters. So for pop, that's POP, if you do not put any parameter, like you do not say you see that between the parentheses is empty, there's nothing between the parentheses. It's just open parentheses, and close the parentheses. It's going to remove the last element. To remove the element at the last index and to return it. Let's see. My list, you see, it returns 5,9. And when you print my list, 5/9, the list it's gone. What if you say my list? Let's remove this now, right? Let's remove this. Let's just remove 5. Let's remove that. Remove Linda. Okay. Now, what did we do? We said my list is 92.5, this, true and false. My list dot pop, no value. The last element is now false, and we remove that last element, false. By the time we print my list, we'll have ends are true. Now, if we put an index, we put index 0, right? What do we have? We're going to have 90. 90 will be removed, right? Oh, sorry, I didn't initialize this again, sorry. Okay, so let's go. No, we had run this before, right? So it's very important that let's confirm our list is now, my list is now GPG analyst 1, 2, 3, 0.75 and true, right? So the first element is now GPG analyst. That's element at index 0. So my list dot pop index 0 will be GPG analyst. And when we call my list, we only have 1, 2, 3, 0.75 and true. All right. Talk about the reverse method in a bit. Okay, great. So the reverse method is used to just reverse the order of a list. So let's type out this list on your computer, on your PC. I'll give you 1, 2 minutes. Type out this list, print it, right? Don't forget, put the print your list underscore list, print it, then call the dot reverse method on it, and then print it again, and just see there what your results will be. So just share, was your list reversed or not? Okay, I'm just checking the chat to see. Yes. So your list has to be reversed. So your list is going to be reversed. Why? Because we have used the dot reverse method. So I'll do mine here. Print 2.5, right? And by the time we use the reverse, we get all the elements reversed. That's all. So that's all dot reverse does, just reverses. Same way, call visited countries, America, Rwanda, up onto Mauritius, call the dot reverse, and we have that. Now, sort. Sort can be used. So sort is actually used to properly order a list. So we want to sort our list maybe in ascending order, maybe in descending order, right? So we want to use our list in whatever order really, and we use the sort method. So egg weight, let's say we have integer list from 59 up onto this. So what I will do now is I'll be giving us just like a minute to type out these variables because I want to believe we are following where we are. Okay, great. So we have egg weight. Now it's unordered. We just put, everything is just 59, 56, 53. Everything is, we don't know, it's not in order, maybe increasing order of weight or decreasing order of weight. But by the time we call the dot sort method, without putting any, you see that there are no parameters, it's empty, just calling it. What we're going to get is an increasing order of sort. So the sorting will be done in increasing order. That is ascending order. So that means if we pass no parameters, it's going to be done, sorting will be done in ascending order. So let's run this. Egg weight becomes 51, the least. The next one is 52, right? 54, 56, up until 69. So we have the marks of 13 students in the Intro to Python quiz. Let's say these are their marks. We want them to be sorted in descending order, right? So we know that if we do not use ascending order, yes, ascending. If we do not put anything within the parentheses, it's going to be in ascending order. But if we want it to be in descending order, all we have to say is a parameter called reverse. We set it as true. So let reverse be true. That is descending order, right? So this is marks. So we want to sort it from highest to lowest now. Marks or reverse. When we sort it, what do we get? The highest mark is 20, then 18, 17, 16, up onto 9. Okay. So here's an activity that we're going to do. What you're going to do is, right now, create a list that contains the names of your best friends. Just create a list. Let it contain the names of your best friends. Right? Try not to check what we've done before. Try not to look at it yet. So if you now don't get it, you can check through. But try not to, just try to do it without making a reference for the first time, right? But if you don't get it, you can make reference. Definitely, you're allowed to do that. So create a list that contains the names of your best friends. Now use Python to access the third element in that list. The third element. So the third element is going to what? It's going to be the item at index, not index 3 now, index 2, 0, 1, 2. So that'll be the third element. I'm already giving you pointers. Now, how many friends are in your list? So how do you count the number of elements in the list? There's a function, the length function. All right, so try that on your own. Let's see how we do. And if you're able to get all the answers, you're able to get correctly, just put the thumbs up, a fire emoji, or just drop something on the chat. All right, so this shouldn't take us too long. Let's do this in 4 minutes. All right, 4 minutes. Let's run this exercise. Okay, great. We are getting it. Okay, great. Done. I see you. I can't pronounce this name, but I see you with thumbs up. Done, done, done. Great, 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 great. Let's wait a bit for other people to catch up. Okay, great. I think we got that. All right, so we can move on. Okay, I think we are. I just want to be sure that we are all on the same page and we are together. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's move on. Now let's talk about another data type called tuples. Okay, tuples. All right, great. So we are moving on. Tuples. So what are tuples? Tuples are a kind of data type. Sorry, data structure, and there are other sequences just like our list, but the major difference is that they are immutable. That means you cannot change what you have set as a tuple. So once you create a tuple, you can't change it. You can't change the elements in it. It's immutable, right? You can't change them. But of course, you can reassign something else to that tuple. Okay, it means that you cannot reassign an item once it's in a tuple, unlike a list where we can do reassignment. And the major difference is to create the elements in the list are put in a square bracket separated by a comma, but the elements in the tuple are enclosed in parentheses or what we call brackets, and they are separated by comma. So you use parentheses and commas for tuples. The list is mutable, while the tuple is immutable. It cannot be changed. Okay. All right. So let's create an empty tuple. Just put just open in parentheses, close it, and when you find the type of whatever you have set as the name of that empty tuple, it's going to return. It must return what? Tuple. Yeah. So check it out. Try it out. So let's create a tuple 3, 2. Print it. Say t is 3, 2. If we print it, we get 3, 2. Okay, great. All right, so 3, 2, 8, 9. Print it, you still get that. And it goes on and on and on like that. Let's put a string there, right? So it goes on and on like that. Basically, everything you can just think of, all you know for lists applies to tuple in terms of order and sequence. But since we cannot change the elements in a tuple, that means we cannot use append function. We can't append to it. We can't, what else can we do? All those things that change elements, we can't do them on tuples. But what can we actually do? So, tuple of integers, yes, floats, and strings. We mentioned this, that works fine. We can also have mixed tuples, yes, same as for list, like we mentioned. We can have a nested tuple. This is nested, sorry. Nested tuple, and Ethiopia, you see that. So there is a tuple inside this tuple. There's another, you see this Kenya, even though it's just one element, it's actually on its own a tuple. And this is also a tuple. So, okay, let me call this nested. So we don't get an error, a name error here. Call this nested. Type is a tuple. Okay. We can also use the len function to find the number of elements inside the tuple. So len function, mixed tuple is this. How many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 elements there. Okay. Let's try that again. We have how many elements here? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 elements, even though there are tuples included. So that's an example. Now, indexing and slicing. Indexing and slicing works exactly the same way as your, what's it called? As our list. So we just put, indexing is always done with your square brackets, always. So I want to get the element at index 3, right? So this is my tuple, parentheses, remember, index 3 is what? 0, 1, 2, 3, that's 1, 2, 3. I want to get the element at index 5. All right, so what will be the answer? Let's drop it on the chart. The element at index 5. I'm trying to index element at index 5. What will be my answer? So I'll just give us a few seconds to answer that on the chat. True, yes. 0. 90 is at 0, 2.5 is at 1, GPG is at 2, this is at 3, this is at 4, and this is at 5. So my tuple at index 5, we have 5. We have true. Okay. What about here we have slicing. What if we slice from element at index 1 to element at 6? What will be the result? Who wants to tell me? List out the elements in the chart that will be returned when we run this slice. Slice 1 to 6. What are the elements that will be returned once we run this slice? What are the elements that will be returned once we run this slice? Okay, I'm waiting for our responses on the chat. From 2.5 to true, 2.5 to true. Okay, all right, beautiful. I'm really glad that we are, and a good number of us are getting this correctly. That means we're getting it, it's making a lot of sense to us. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so my 2.1 to 6 is what? 2.5. You see that? To true. Why? The last element, 6, will not be included. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 5 is what we did here. And from 1, that is element at index 1. Beautiful. All right, so that's about indexing. You can run multiple examples, try it out on your own, and see. All right, so mutability, yeah, that means immutability, yes. So I have to keep changing this. Even myself, sometimes I forget this mutable and immutable, right? So while this is mutable, the tuple is not. That means the tuple has immutability. We can't replace the element of it. Let's try it. So we have my tuple, 1, 2, 3. I'm sure a number of us that have tried this already. I know. So we have what here? We have this 0. Okay. Okay, this is 0 to 9. Okay. And we want to replace the element as index 0, which is 1. We want to replace it with 9. To tell you that type error, tuple objects do not support item assignment. None of those methods that change values will work in a tuple. Let's look at it. Method or append, nope, it will never append it. To tell you tuple object does not have attribute append, right? But tuple objects also have their methods, index and count. So you can play around with them. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a short break to 11, right? We'll take a short break for a few minutes. Before 11, we'll convene. So please, wherever you are, stretch your legs, drink water. I am going to drink water, and let's reconvene by 11, where we'll talk about our tuple methods, index and count. Okay. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Okay, no, there's no network issues. We just took a short break. Okay, all right. So just wait another few seconds for everyone to reconvene. If you're here, how's class been today? Hope you're following. I hope it's not confusing. I hope I hope we are getting it because I remember quite a number of feedback from last class. Some messages like I didn't get it, something. I hope we are getting it. And okay, I think we're all here. All right, so let's move on. Talking about tuple methods. Okay, let me see. I think we have some things. Q&A. Right? Okay. So tuple methods. Tuples have only two methods that we will be using here, and that's or really two methods really. Index and count. So index will return, and we saw this already. Index will return the index of a value. So if I know the item in the list, but I don't know where it is, I don't know the position in that list that the item is at, I can use the index method to get the index. Okay. Let's take a look at T. Let's say T is what A B A C A. What is so T dot index? I call index function and we say value C. What's the index of value C? What should be the answer? Drop your answer in the chat. Let's see. Yes, I believe as well the answer should be C. Now you observe that now there are 0, 1, there are 1, 2, we have 3 A's, right? 3 A's. If you say T dot count, find the index of A. Sorry, count rather. Count returns the number of occurrences of a certain value. So if I want to count the number of items at a so we have how many times do we have A? We know it's 3, okay? Let's say let's create more. Call this T, call this A, call this M. Imagine if we had a million, we had like a million of this. I want to count. We can't count it by so you can't just be counting 1, 2, 3, right? So count method will always tell us that okay, now you have 4 A's in your tuple, you have this number in your tuple. So list and tuples are very similar. How are they similar? They are similar that you can even find yourself exchanging the uses of either one. But just know that when you're using a tuple, you should use it for something you do not plan to change, right? I'm doing something I know that this thing is not going to change at all. Then I can use a tuple. I'm doing something I am expecting the values to change. That's a list. All right. So I think let's do this class activity. Once you do it, just type done on the chat. Once I get the number of that, we'll move on. So create a tuple that includes the names of your best friends. Remember, you've done it in Python before. If you can find it, you can actually just change the reassignment to the tuple assignment, right? And use Python to access the third element in that name list. Then what is the length of your tuple? All right, once you're done, just say done, and we'll move on to sets. Set another beautiful data structure. Can you change a tuple to a list and vice versa? There's a way you can do that. You cannot. There's no exact reassignment where you can change a tuple to a list or vice versa. But if you can list out the element, you can use a for loop to iterate through that tuple or through that list, and you are listing out the element inside the value, and you're now inputting the iterated element into your list or your new tuple. Yes, you can change it that way. But there's no like change tuple to list attribute. No. Well, for some, oh yeah, we can't do it now because we've not covered for loops and not gotten to loops. So when we get to loops, you'll see how that it will make sense. This one seems hard compared to the other. Really? Sorry about that, but I'm glad that you're able to do that. Okay, done. Many of us are done. Beautiful. Well done, everyone. All right, so let's move to sets. Right now, we're moving to sets. Now, if you remember from our mathematics, sets are ordered pair of unique values, right? Set is a fundamental data structure. Set is an unordered and unindexed collection of unique elements. What's special about the set is they have to be unique elements, right? It's not like the one we have. I think we saw the tuple where we had multiple elements. In this, we can have multiple same elements. But for a set, just think of your set like you know from mathematics, right? And that is what we are talking about. An ordered and indexed collection of unique elements. You construct them by using a curly bracket, and elements in the set are also separated by a comma. So create a, let's call it call receive. So call receive is our variable for this set. The set is created using a curly bracket. A list is created using square brackets. Tuple is created using parentheses. A set is created using your curly bracket. So put your elements inside 0, 1, 2. Even in mathematics, you remember that it's curly brackets for sets, right? And you print that, you get call receive. Exactly. So type call receive. Let's find the data type that the type of data structure it is. It's a set. Now you will see that. Remember that when we type this set, it's all 1, 2, 0, 1, 4, 2, 3, 5. It's not ordered. But once you print it, you see that it's ordered. The set is naturally ordered. This should be ordered, not unordered. Very, very important. Let me change because someone watching this again. All right. So this is ordered properly. So once you call that, it's going to automatically by itself order the elements. Right? And sometimes it's really good. Now, also, even if there are multiple elements and you pass that into a set, the set will automatically create the unique. It will only pick the unique elements. So it's a very, very, very useful data type. Let's say we have fruits. Let's take a look at fruits. Apple, banana, cherry, no order, right? No proper order. I mean, we know that the grape should come before orange and all that. So we create that set. By the time you print it, what has happened? Ascending order again. It's been ordered in ascending order. So find the type. Yep. Yeah. So the major, yes, I'll say major. The major feature of the set is the fact that it doesn't support the duplicate of an element. So if we have, we have there 19, 20, 15, 19, 16, 21, 17. How many 19s? 2. Which other one? Let's say we have 2 20s. The set data type doesn't really care. All it knows is this thing should have unique elements only. So what's it going to do? It will just pick one and move on and put it in your ascending order. So that is it. So the initial values that were duplicates have been removed to keep only one unique value. The len function works still. You can use len to find out how many elements we have in the set. Set also supports mixed data types. Okay. Indexing and slicing. Now, remember that we said sets are unordered. So it can be indexed and slicing operator will not work. Type error. Why? Set object is not subscriptable. Okay. Now, or we can add elements to sets because a set is mutable. That is, it can be changed. What does it mean to add an element to a set? That means we essentially use the dot add method. So we use the add method to add the elements we set. That makes a lot of intuitive sense. So if the element is already present in the set, the function will ignore adding that element because the set will only have an arrangement of unique elements. There cannot be duplicate elements in a set. So create a set called it student age, 19, 20, 15, 16, 21, and 17. Dot add. Dot add method is going to add 18 to this set, and it will automatically as well arrange it in an ascending order as we stated earlier. So let's run that. We run the student age dot add. Now we have 18 among the student age. Let's get another example. My set, we have analyst. Somebody should drop the name on the chat. I want to use the names of people in this class. Just drop the first 5 people to drop their names. Or the first 1 5 people I see, right? Omotomiwa. Oh my goodness, Samson. Oh, that escalated quickly. Samson, I see him. I see Buki. Sorry, there's only space for one more person. First, don't worry, the other ones we use add them and Sunji. Okay, great. These are the people that we have. Okay. And by the time we print this out, what do we get? Buki, Ibrahim. If we had 2 Tunjis, right? The set will only print 1. Right? Now let's add to this set. Now what's in the Elijah. Beautiful. Hope it's not Elijah Markelson. All right, so Elijah. So my set dot add Elijah. What will happen to my set? Arranged exactly in ascending order. We have Buki, Elijah. Elijah has come next because of E, right? somebody says Naruto. Please don't let me geek out here. All right. So Buki, Elijah, Motomwa. I have to learn my set. Okay. So and just for the culture, let's see. All right, just for the culture. So my set is gonna be the last one because of the U for because it's gonna arrange it in an ascending order. So you can't use a pen, you can't use pop with set. No, you can't. That's what we said. Where was that? Where we said that indexing and slicing doesn't work. It's never. We said here that the set is immutable, right? Where is it? No, that was 2. So append and pop. So where are we? Let's try. We should be able to use append. I'm not sure. Let's see. Dot append. I think we can use append. Yeah, attribute error. Yeah, no, we can't use append. And I doubt we'll be able to use pop because it's not indexed. Oh, we can use pop. Beautiful. Yeah, we can use pop. So you can use pop. Some of these attributes, you can use them across themselves and some we can't. All right. So let's move on to basic set operations. The same way we have it in mathematics, we have union of a set, intersection, complement of a set. And as we know, and you see why it's really important now that the set has unique values because of this kind of operations and that we use on the set. Okay, so let's look at this Venn diagram that shows the relationship between some of these elements in the set. We have apple, cherry, tomato, pepper, tomato, and we have persimmon and tangerine. So A contains red fruits, and set B contains orange fruits. Now, some of these guys are in both, right? Remember union, intersection. So union of a set. When we talk about the union of a set, union of a set denoted by A union B. Now it's getting a bit statistical and mathematical, right? Have no fear. It's just Python, and I'm sure that we are all making progress and we are getting it. Okay, so A union B is a collection of all elements in both sets. All elements in both sets without repetition without duplication of any element. So if A is 725 and B is 1258, A union B will be what? 12578. It's that simple. So to get the union of two sets, we put the, what's this thing called now? Okay, so we put this at the middle of the two, pipe, thank you so much. At the middle of the two sets, right? So this is A is 725, B is this. So A union B, you can use any variable name. Don't let the variable name confuse you. Any variable name. Okay, we can call this cat or whatever. So that's just A pipe B. Let's put the pipe in between them and we've not run this. So when we print A union B, what do we get? 12578. Even though we have 2 in A and 2 in B, totally ignored, and only the unique value is printed. So we can also use union attributes to get the union of a set. So A union B can be A. Now we are seeing the attributes of a set now. Union. So A dot method union, right? Union, right? And we put the B value. The B variable will contains a set, right? This set. So A union B to return the same thing as this. So you can use the pipe, or you can use the union A, the union attribute A union B will give us the same thing. So we have odd numbers, we have even numbers. These are odd numbers from 0 to 10, even numbers from 0 to 10. So what's the union of the set of odd and even numbers? So try that at your end. Put the pipe in between the two variables. All numbers is what? Odd number type. Even number. And what do we get? When we print, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You must get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? And we talk about fruits. Let's look at it again. All fruits, friend fruit. You can make it shorter, use whatever you want. By the time we find their union, whatever variables, whatever values they had that were maybe they are here, they're in both places, will automatically be replaced and only unique values will be printed. All right. So Len, how many, okay, so I think have we run this? Sure. All right, run it now and learn all fruits is 9. All right, so class activity. Look at this shaded, this region. This is X union Y, like the entire yellow part is X union Y, right? So let's represent both sets X and Y of Python. And using Python, what is the union of set X and Y? So the union of set X and Y should contain the unique values in X and in Y without repeating any of them. So let's do that. Once you're done on the chat, let's drop an emoji. You got it. Okay. So we've talked about the union. Remember, you can say A, you can say dot union, or use the pipe operator. All right. I'll just wait a bit. Let's see if we get maybe 1, 2 people. I'll just go over this again. We said you can use the pipe operator, right? Or you can just use the dot union method to always find the union of two sets. This is X and this is Y. Beautiful. Some people are done. Okay. All right. Let's move on then. What about intersection? Intersection of two sets denoted by A intersection B, that upside down U thing. Yeah. It actually has its own like proper name. I just don't recall right now. So is the set containing, so it's a new set, right? And it contains all the elements of A that also belong to B, or all elements of B that also belong to A. Basically, what they have in common. Done, done, done. Okay, beautiful. So we're talking about elements. So elements in A that belong to B. So what do they have in common? Basically, that's what do they have in common? Okay, so and what is our Python notation? Python notation for that is the AND operator, that AND symbol, this thing. Yes, that is the Python notation for intersection of sets. Yes, somebody's already saying 1 and 2 in common. Beautiful. So to compute intersection, we say create B. And intersection is simply what? A and B. Print it, we must get 1 and 3. If I get something different, just check your element. Maybe you added something that wasn't recorded. Okay, all right. So that's intersection. Or as always, you can also use the intersection attribute or method, and that is dot intersection, and you will still get your answer. So you can try it with the fruit example as well. Okay, so another activity. Let's go. We have P, we have Q. So represent both P and Q in Python. Let me just reduce the size so that we can see both the question and the what we expected to do at the same time. So this is our activity right now. So we represent both P and Q in Python, right? So type out these elements. Let's go, let's do the rigor. Type it out, 3, 9, 12, 6, 18, 15, right? Type them out. And 4, 16, like me on YouTube. Great. 10, 2, 14, 12, 6, 18, that's Q. So represent both sets P and Q in Python. That means put them inside curly brackets, separate each element by a comma. And what is the intersection of sets X and Y? No, sets P and Q. Set P and Q. So that means either you use the AND, right? Either you use the AND operator or you use dot intersection. All right, so let's do that. And we know what the answer should be. The answer is quite obvious. So let us do that. So if you got the answer, just type done on the chat or type just drop an emoji. You can just drop an emoji here. So we'll have 2-3 minutes for that. Okay, people are great. Elements. No, the elements are listed up here. You can see it on the screen. 13A is 13, 15, 12. It's in the image. 13, 15, 12, 11, 14. C is what? 11, 14, 18, 7, 29. Oh, I just even realized this should be intersection, not difference. I'm sure we already great. Okay. So the answer should be 11 and 14. Your new what's it now? Your new attribute should be 11 and 14. Right? So difference of sets. Oh, I had moved ahead. Oh, I see. Oh, this was P and Q. Sorry, I moved ahead to the difference one. So the complement of a set to set difference, sorry, 11 and 14. Yeah, if we do that, well, this is what we're working on. All right, don't worry, we'll do the difference one again. We'll do it again. And that's the one. So difference of two sets is simply A minus B. So you just use your minus operator to get the difference, or you use the dot difference attribute. So I won't bother since we already got the hang of it, don't need to dwell too much on there. So just minus your normal minus, give you the difference of two sets. All right. So another very important, yeah, the function for intersection is dot intersection. Right? We cover that. Where is it? Dot, is it here? Dot intersection. Dot intersection. It will also give you the intersection of the sets. All right. So dictionary. Dictionaries are really super important and very useful. I mean, I think for me, I think that data structure I use the most when I'm doing data wrangling, because many times I have to match somebody, somebody's order of two pairs. So what's a dictionary? No, it's not advanced learners or Cambridge. It's a Google dictionary. It's an ordered collection of key and value pairs. That is, it makes use of two elements. There's a key and there's a value. So each value is indexed to a key. The key is like the index or like the indices of the dictionary. So a dictionary is usually used when we have a huge amount of data and we must know the key before we retrieve the value. So there's an order. For example, let me give you guys a very good example of a dictionary. A dictionary, a very good example would be your name and your student ID in this program. That's a very good example. Which one is unique? Two people on this program can have the same name, but you will not have the same student ID. So the key must always be unique and the value can be whatever. So the values are the names, the key is your student ID. We create a dictionary by defining keys and value elements inside the curly brackets. Okay? A good example, let's look at dictionary. My dictionary, key one is what? So key one, the key comes first, there's a colon, and then there's value one. Curly brackets, key comes first, colon, and value one. And here's the good part about the dictionary. Your key can be any object. Maybe any object. Yeah, most objects really can be your key, your string, your integer, your float, they can be your key. And your value can also be any object. Another dictionary can be your value. Another list can be your value, right? Another what now? A Boolean can be your value. Now, comma. Here is very important. The next key must be separated by a comma. Key 2, colon, value, comma. Key 3, colon, value, comma. Now, place my dictionary. We have key 1 like that. Okay. And type, my dictionary should give us what? Dictionary. So let's look at life expectancy. So life expectancy is the average number of years a person is expected to live based on the year of birth. So let's say this is a data set of life expectancy at 2020. Let's say Nigeria is 60. Oh, Kenya is 69. So the keys, you see here that the key is what? The key is the name of the country, while the life expectancy is the value. Because two countries can have the same life expectancy, but there cannot be two Nigerias. There cannot be two countries that have the same name, right? So Nigeria, colon, 60, Kenya, colon, 69, Uganda, colon, 68, Ethiopia, colon, 68. You see, we can have Uganda, Ethiopia with the same life expectancy. Sudan colon 67, Rwanda 65, comma, Tanzania 64, Somalia. So life expectancy, here it is. Right? Right. So up onto there, find the type, it's going to give us a dictionary. Same thing. Now, you might be thinking, oh, what's the point? What's the use? Look at this now. Creating this dictionary of geopolitical zones. We keep the geopolitical zone as the key. Then we create a list, right? Now, this is a very good application, very, very useful. We create, and the value is a list that contains all the states in the geopolitical zone. Now, print it out, we have this. Now, if I want to know the geopolitical zone of any state, all I have to do is, I know we are not there, but let's say I want to, what geopolitical zone? I'm in Lagos, right? So all I say is geopolitical zone, and I should be, but I think it's yet, or not sure of the attributes now for that. Let's try to try that error. So if we say Lagos, no, number is not, yes, not a key. So geopolitical zone, okay, so we might have to iterate through each geopolitical zone and just find, so iterating through, if you say for, okay, we're going to follow again. So that means we'll check that out maybe in by next class, we should actually get to the for loops. But the idea is this: if I now have this, all I have to do is iterate through all of these zones, and for each of them, if the state I'm looking for is there, print it out for me. Okay, I think we can do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. So for zone, let's confirm that we've run this. For zone in geopolitical zones, right? If zone, now zone is going to be each of these pairs, right? So if zone, now first of all, what state are we looking for? Let's say state is what? Lagos, right? If let's say if state is the same as that zone, dot is it get now or dot list. This is what there's an attribute to get the, let's say dot, another item should return a, just print dot items first. So to get the, so let's say print zone dot items, you should have parentheses at the back. Let's see how it does. Okay, so let's do print zone first. Okay. No. Okay, so we'll get to this in what now? When we get to the other attributes, accessing the items. Okay, it says the zones, not zones. Really? These zones are used. Oh no, that one doesn't matter. No, that one doesn't matter. Don't worry, we'll get to it. So we've printed the geopolitical zones. Let's find the length. Len also works to find the length of a dictionary, right? And then accessing the items. Now, this is where I was going. So dictionaries are mutable. That means we can access the items of a dictionary anyhow we want to access them. Okay. So that means to get the item. So if I want to find life expectancy of, say, Nigeria, all I have to say is I know the country, I know the key. If I know the key, I can access the value. So Nigeria is my key here. Life expectancy in Nigeria is going to give us 60. For Ethiopia, it's also the same thing. life expectancy of Ethiopia, just put the dictionary name and like you're indexing. But instead of using the index, we now the name, the key becomes our index. Think of it that way. So I think people are raising it. Just drop it in the chat. So life expectancy for Ethiopia, 68, but we cannot access them by index, right? We're going to get an error. Okay, but we can always use the key to access the value. So the same way what we're doing up here, let's take a look at it. If I know, so this is printing out the keys for me. So that means geopolitical zone, political zone, zones. Okay, I see what this is. Zones underscore zone. Now, this is going to, what will this print out for me? This will print out all the states, right? Okay. So what I want to say is if state is actually in the political zones for that zone, if that is true, print for me that state is in my, what's the geopolitical zone? Zone, that was where we were. Zone. And we want to say geopolitical. So we're trying to find the geopolitical zone for Lagos. And what we are saying here is for every zone in geopolitical zones, that is this dictionary that has the geopolitical zone as the key and the values are a list of the states in that geopolitical zone. If the state, that is Lagos, is in the geopolitical zone, the values, you see, we've indexed now. So for each one, it's going to do first North Central. It will say geopolitical zones, North Central, to check. For what now? What's the next one? For Southwest, to check. So if Lagos is in the list of states, print Lagos is in the geopolitical zone. So what do we get? Lagos is in Southwest geopolitical zone. We can change it to another state. Give me a state in the chart. So you see, just this way, just with this simple 1, 2, 3, 4 lines of code, we've written a code that can tell us any geopolitical zone that any state of the country is in, right? Let's, excuse me, let's run a few tests. Drop some names in the chat. Someone says Imo. Okay, let's use Imo. Imo is in Southeast geopolitical zone. I don't have to check again. Once I've written a code like this, forever and forever and forever, as long as the state name is a proper name that is in the code, it will, excuse me, it will always return the geopolitical zone for that state. All right, so that's a very good application of what you can do with the dictionary. And all right, so life expectancy, we've covered this example. Now dictionary method. Oh, I kept typing items. All right, so methods in a dictionary. We have keys, we have values. Yeah, we'll learn this for loop. For loop is very interesting. We'll learn for loop, we'll learn while loop, don't worry. So keys, values, items, updates. Keys, values, items, updates. Keys, values, items, updates. Keys methods return as they list all the keys in dictionary. So if we say life expectancy dot keys, we'll get that what? Dictionary keys, what? Nigeria, Kenya. You see that it's all the keys. Now, I want this as a proper list. Make it a list. We can use the list function. Make it a list, right? And then we have this as a proper Python list. Geopolitical zones does keys. Make it a list. And we have it as a proper list. So the keys method will always return the keys of the dictionary. Dot values. The values method will return the list of all the values in the dictionary. All the values. The same goes for that as well. You can just use the list function to make them because if you try to use this list, I'm most likely to tell you that something is wrong with the object or so. So just list. Yeah. So this is a list of lists. This is a nested list because the values themselves are lists. So if we say how many elements are here, if you're expecting to see 36, no, we'll only get the 62 political zones. So we'll get 6. All right. So the items method. The items method return each item in a dictionary as tuples in a list. And it's very, it's good because you know that you know the index and you have that a list of tuples. So all the elements in your dictionary in key value pairs will be returned as a tuples. So life expectancy was country and life expectancy. By the time you call the items method on it, we'll have a list of tuples that contain each tuple will now be the country, comma, life expectancy. Kenya, comma, life expectancy. Uganda, comma, life expectancy. And on and on and on like that. Now you can update your dictionary. We want to add something to the dictionary. Dictionaries are they're super easy to update because they are mutable, right? So the update method will update the dictionary with the items from the given argument. And the argument must be a key and a value pair. So if we want to update, want to add something to the dictionary, simply update, open your bracket. Now, curly brackets, because we're adding another item to this dictionary, we just say the country name, colon, life expectancy, following the same pattern that we use to create the dictionary. So it's that simple. We can add, if you want to add a state or something, you can go ahead and do that. So life expectancy, said Eritrea 66. Now, you can also use, yes, the new index key and to add a value. This one, I usually find this one easier. So rather than going through life expectancy.update and you do this, all you have to do is assign to create or to add a new value to a dictionary. All we have to do really is to assign the value 66 to that new key. But if so, this is what the dictionary does. If this key is not there, it will create the key. So in other words, it's going to update the dictionary, and that's what we are taking advantage of here. So Eritrea is not, you see, Eritrea is not in life expectancy, or is it? No, Eritrea is not here. All we do is life expectancy, index, and call it Eritrea, and assign 66 to it. So once 66 is assigned to it, by the time we run our print, we'll find out Eritrea has been added. It's that simple. So removing items in a dictionary. To remove an item in a dictionary, we use the del keyword. The del keyword is used and to remove the item with the specified key name. So we must use the key to do that because the key is like the index for the dictionary, right? So to delete information about Eritrea in the life expectancy dictionary, all do we do? DEL, life expectancy, Eritrea. Once we run that and we print the results, Eritrea is no longer there. Let's remove Kenya. If we remove Kenya, what's going to happen? We print this Kenya is no longer there. Our dictionary is shut out. Let's remove Nigeria. What's going to happen? It's gone. Let's remove, who else? Let's remove the last item, Burundi. So we can keep removing like that, and we can also add again. So now, you see that we removed, now key error, why? Burundi is no longer there. I want to add Burundi back. Using the method we discussed above, this method, all we need to do is index it and assign a value to it. So index Burundi is indexed already. Assign a value of, I don't know what it is. So let's just assign something. And by the time we print life expectancy, what do we have? Burundi is added again, but I'm sure this is not life expectancy there. All right, so class activity. So let's look at this dictionary. Right? We have a dictionary of fruits, apples, oranges, pears, mangoes. Vegetables are tomatoes, lettuce, spinach, green peppers. So there's a key, fruits, and there's a list, right, that contains all the values. There's a list that contains the fruits that belong to that group. Vegetables, there's a list that contains the values. Meat, there's a list that contains the values. Dairy, there's a list that contains the values. So here are the questions. How many keys does D have? So that means you use the len function to find the number of keys. How list the values of D? How can you list the values of D? Dot values. Remember there's a method dot values. The values method will return a list of all the values. Okay. And how do you access spinach using dictionary key? I want to access spinach. How am I going to access spinach? I'm very, very much interested in that answer because that means you call D, you call spinach is in vegetable. So you index vegetables. Then who wants to guess? So I want to see it in the chat. So so your answer A, just answer A, list the answer B. So how we are going to send your answer is for A, question A, just say A, and how many keys? If it's 10 keys, put the keys. B, if it's the values, just maybe done. So we don't, because I can imagine how long the chat will be if we are pasting our answers, right? But C, I'm very much interested in this C. So how do we access spinach? How you're going to access it is really simple. I'm giving us hints so we can go ahead and do it. So what we're going to do is you index vegetables. Once you index vegetables, your result is going to be the list that contains spinach. And since we know spinach is in a list, from the index, we can always find spinach. Simple. So just use the index of spinach to access it. And adding a new fruit. To add a new fruit, you can use any of the methods discussed above. So once you've been able to do D vegetables, yes, D vegetables, great. But D vegetables, then you index spinach like a list of X, where X is the index of spinach. So that is correct. All right. So let's do this. Once you're done, just type done on the chat. We'll have 5 minutes for this so we can close for today. Right. Also cover this is the last activity for today. Actually, you see it's the last thing. So we'll have 5 minutes. Let's see what we can. Okay, so we need to type it. So I'll give us 6 minutes. So all right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, let's wait for others. We still have some time. Okay. Let's see. All right. So just drop it down, emoji or something on the chat when you're yes. Done, guys. All right. Okay, let's run a correction. Let's see. So how many keys does D have? Okay, we'll deal with that. So D, how many? So for A, so how do we do that? For question A, all we have to do is what? Learn D. Is that simple? Oh, D is not. So learn D, it was 4. Yeah, that one's simple. Question 2, list the values of D. That's just what? D dot values, right? And if you want to have a cleaner list, just make it a list again. So now this looks more clean, right? So the next question, how do you access spinach using dictionary D? So spinach is in, excuse me, spinach is in the key vegetables. It's a list and index 0, 1, 2. All right, so the vegetables. Okay, I see you on YouTube. Thank you, that's correct. The vegetables, right? And now, so just say, let's say list veg is the vegetables, right? If I print that, we'll get what are we going to get? We'll see tomatoes, lettuce, spinach, green peppers. So I understand that this is a list. Spinach is at 0, 1, 2. So if I say spinach, so I can say get my spinach. I just try to do it like step by step so we can see the thought behind and the reason behind why we're doing that. So index the key that contains what we are looking for, which is vegetables. D is the name of the dictionary. This will return a list that contains spinach. And we know spinach is at index 2. We are only doing this because the value is a list. We're able to do this. So it's very easy for us. And then like a nested list, we just put the index behind because this D vegetables is a list on its own, right? And get spinach always equals spinach. How do you add a new fruit? So I know that D vegetables is spinach. Let's say we want to add to this guy. All we need to do is maybe we have a new list. So this vegetables is on its own, it's a list, right? Let's say I want to add to the vegetables. Someone give us a vegetable on the chat. Anybody wants to give us a vegetable on the chat? Carrot. Is carrot a vegetable? Not sure. Let's just. Everybody's not typing. Everybody's typing carrot at the same time. Why is the carrot everybody is typing? Okay, so just append carrot, right? Oh, sorry, still right. So if we print the vegetable, so print the what now? Vegetables, tomatoes, bitter leaves. Ah! All right. So print the vegetable. We see that now carrot has been added for every time I've run. I ran this like 3 times. All right. So let's just do it once. So we see that carrot has been added to vegetables. So that's a way you can just append because it's there, right? But they say we should add fruit. So fruit is that's the key. So the vegetables make that fruit. So let's add what fruit is not there yet. I want to add let's say a 4-leaf cabbage. Time. The vegetables to make soup. All right. So let's see. Fruit. Okay, fruit examples of fruits. I'm seeing tomato, cabbage, a 4-leaf for, for vegetables. So I wonder what people type for soup. For fruit, sorry, I'm really interested. Orange. We have orange already. Mango. We have mango already. Apple. We have apple. No, we have apple already. Give me a fruit that is not already on the list. What a fruit that is not already on the list? Pear. Beautiful. Pear. Once we do that and we print avocado, watermelon, okay, thank you. Fruit. Here, fruit. Oh, it's fruits. Sorry, it's fruits, not fruits. Fruits. Apples, oranges, pears, mango, pears. Pears was there already, sir. Okay, so let's use watermelon. All right, so fruits, watermelon has been added. So because it's a list, we can just use the append function, or we can just say D. Let's even create a new thing and say D snacks. Right? And these snacks, we are creating a new key now. Right? We are updating the entire dictionary. Snacks. All right, snacks time. I hope you will not get hungry with this one that we are doing. Okay, snacks. Let's just use 5 small chops. And which small chops? Is it puff puff? Gala. Okay, yes, no, Gala has to be there. That's premium snack. All right. Which other one? Chips. Okay, chips. I really like cookies. Egg roll. Okay, egg roll. Wow. Wow, serious. All right. Digestive. Okay. Let's add that. Okay. So now that's snacks. Okay. Now print list the what now? Dot values. To show that we've updated this dictionary, you see that. Oh, look at that. I didn't close the bracket. Type error, built-in function is not accurate. Oh, sorry, I have to. All right, please go. Ooh, can you imagine? So, what do we have? You see that at the end, right at the end here, we have snacks that we just added has become another element in our dictionary. The same way, if we were to print the keys, D dot keys, you see that snacks has become a key. So the same way we can use that to update, or if you want to use the updates, like here, want to use the update key, just dot update, open your bracket, put your key and value. So if we're going to do that, we'll just say, let's just copy this. If you're following, just copy this. And we can, if we want to use updates, call them, so just say D dot updates, and we'll say snacks. Now, because there's snacks already, let's say snacks underscore version 2. And let's say puff. This one can now become what? Buns. This one can become sausage roll. This one can become plantain chips. This one can become what? Chocolate cookies. And this one can become, we can leave. Okay, let's remove this one. Let me pick, someone said biscuit again. So let me pick that. All right, so we run this. Oh, there's something with our comma somewhere. Oh, yes. What's the issue here? We have failed to. All right, who wants to tell me what the issue here is? On the chat. So we got an error. Who wants to tell us why we got this error? Who has an idea? So we are supposed to assign. So it's supposed to not be equal to assignment for a dictionary is not equal to key value p assignment. It's a colon. So assign a value to a key, it's a colon, right? So now, oh, so that's syntax error somewhere. Where is our syntax error? Let me see, what are we doing wrong? So come back, value, oh, we forgot to use, I forgot to, yes, a curly bracket. Because it's a dictionary. So we have this, okay? So I think we're learning how to debug already. I think I can see we're learning how to debug already. So this update has no attribute updates again. So what is the error? Let's come back up here. So it's updates, not updates. Okay, so now should not have any error update. So dictionary.keys, we have SNAT version 2 has been added, updated automatically. Okay, and if we say print the values for us, what do we have? So I don't want this to run. So we have SNAT version 2 has also been printed. Okay, so and to finish, let's just say for key value in the print key value. This won't actually print the key value pair, it only print the keys, as you see. So if you want to print the key value pairs, we now have to use one of the functions that we learned. Maybe items. Items make sense that returns as tuples. Where is it? So this is just maybe like an assignment you can take home and do, try it on your own. So I know that each item it return is in that list will be a tuple, right? So key or key value in D plus items. Should we do it like this way or just say for key value in for key value in items, okay, items D, right? Let's try to do some pretty printing here. So for key value in items D, print key, okay, let's say the key is comma key underscore value 1, comma, then on a new line, print the value is, what's the value? Key value 2, because remember it's returning a tuple, right? This should be 1 and the other one should be 0. First element. So name items is not defined. Oh, sorry, key dot items. All right. So the key is fruits, and the value is apples, blah blah blah. The key is vegetables. The value is what? Same way, the key is meat, and the value is dairy. The value is. So this is how we've used a function, an attribute of the dictionary that we know, to produce a result that looks like this. That is more intuitive to a human. We can understand that okay, the key is fruits, and the value is this. The key is vegetables. The value is this. So we end on this note today, and we'll continue next week on loops and functions. So thank you all for joining today. I trust we had an exciting time. Please share your learning progress on social media. The video for this session will be uploaded on YouTube right after the session. You can go over it again. And also the quiz will be updated on the info pack for our learning. So thank you all for joining today. I trust we had. There'll be class this Thursday. This Thursday class will be physical. There'll be physical class. It's just today that we do not have the physical class. But there'll be a physical class this Thursday. So there's class on Thursday. Class continues. Every week we still have about, how many weeks? 3 weeks to go. And we're kicking off with machine learning next week. So you don't want to miss it at all. All right. Okay. Someone might think I should my face. All right, let me say goodbye with my face on. Okay. Can you all, I think you can all see. Okay, so goodbye, everybody. Thank you all for joining and enjoy the rest of your day. See you on Thursday.